This is how I do retreats with cast post. First thing I want to emphasize is that previously missed mesial canal was in a different position from a typical triangle anatomy. The missed canal was actually more centered towards the tooth. This is likely because the tooth was rotated, which is hard to see that when drilling through the crown. When doing retreats, especially through the crown, my axis is typically a bit larger than the primary root canal cases. This is why it's important to use ultrasonic tips to make sure I can avoid perforating. Once I found the missed canal, I did precoronal flaring with 2504 up to about 14 millimeters, and then I hand filed down to size 20, so size 10, 15, 20. In this case, especially with previously transported canal, I used hand file to get to working length. Rotary file is great when you have glide path already established, but with these tough cases with hand file along with EDTA, I understand could be challenging, but is the only solution that's predictable at the moment. When doing retreats, I use alpha to melt the coronal part of the gutta percha, and is very useful when dealing with tough gutta percha that cannot be taken out with rotary file only. Once the gutta percha melts, then I can use the rotary file to get the gutta percha out. And then when you get more resistance, that's when I would use a drop of chloroform or maybe use alpha again, and then go in with the rotary file to get the rest of it out. For cast post, I use high speed first to drill around the metal post, especially on the distal side of this canal. And then I use the ultrasonic tip to trough around the post to take it out. It's really important to not do this with high speed to the cast post because otherwise the burr will bounce on the post and easily likely to perforate. So again, I drill with the high speed to drill around the post, and then I use ultrasonic tip to rotate the post out. And then I do the same thing where I melt the gutta percha with alpha, and then you put down the rotary file to get to the working length. Sometimes, again, with tough gutta percha, rotary can get you, and that's when I use hand file to get to working length. And in this case, with the transported canals, I use EDTA and hand file to bypass the canals. And then especially with the retreats, I use ultrasonic irrigation to clean out the rest of the canal with passive ultrasonic irrigations. And then the rest of the part is the same as a regular obturation, where in this case, I open the canal to size 40 on both mesial canals. And then I use the down pack to 4 millimeters with alpha at 200 degrees. And then I use the beta mini with the 25 gauge regular gutta percha to backfill the rest. Sometimes when I want to get a really dense fill, after I backfill, I down pack again with alpha, and then I backfill the rest of the canals. And this is the follow-up post-op x-ray, and then this is the 6-month follow-up x-ray, and you can see a successful healing and a great restoration.